Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
RateBrewer.com. It is the 23rd of March, 2024. Lots of exciting things happen as we end the first quarter. Second quarter is going to be a doozy for banks. It's going to be a doozy for silver lies, potentially. We do have the silver survey coming up. Let me show you where they were. This is last year's silver survey. We have all this data. Now, every silver bug I know out there, every stacker is going to look and compare these two reports. For example, if they come up with the industrial total of X amount and say it's a 2% gain, we're going to look back at their last silver survey and say, okay, are the numbers the same? And are they calculating the 2% gain in demand, where I think it's 25, 30%? But we're going to give them the benefit of doubt, at least this time, that they are going to do the correct thing and use correct numbers instead of trying to massage this report, change the historical numbers. That is fraud, so I don't think that should be allowed. I hear there's rumors of that. That should not be allowed. You can't go back to demand in 2020, which was industrial demand was 488 million ounces, and change that number just to fit wherever you want the narrative to go. I mean, that is investment fraud, if you ask me. You are misleading the investing public if you do that, unless you explain it in the footnotes. Oh, by the way, we changed all our past numbers to make everything fit. There you go. You could do that, I guess. I don't think anybody will believe the report, but it is important. The whole world cites this report. So there is an investment importance if they are going to mislead the investing public intentionally. That's against the law. But will the SEC do anything about it? Will the CFTC do anything about it? Will the DOJ do anything about it? I don't know. They haven't yet. But I'm just happy there's going to be so many more eyes on this report when it comes out April 17th. And if they report the correct numbers, or at least try to get them right, we're going to have parties. That's great. You guys are doing a great job. 2 thumbs up. All you supporters of the Silver Institute and Metals Focus, yeah, keep doing what you're doing. We need more truth and honesty in silver. If you're going to hide things and massage numbers, that's a no-no, in my opinion. And I think everybody watching this video agrees. And we won't sit down and let them do it. I know at least 10 people in the silver influencers, call them, YouTube, BitChute, all the silver people, salesmen, even CEOs who are ready to jump up and down and say, hey, these numbers are not correct, or they are correct. And we will celebrate. We will find out. It'll be interesting. Anyway, looking forward to that. Gold and silver don't trade on the weekends. Cryptos do, though, which is really interesting. They are still, they're trying to get, the riggers are trying to keep the price pressed down, but they got to get it below the moving averages for the commercials to do their thing. They're a long way from the moving average. Well, not a long way, a couple, like a buck. Moving averages are at 350, silver's at 24. I would not put it past them to try to slam it down. What happens when they slam it down? India goes crazy and starts buying again. They haven't bought in like 10 days, at least on the IIBX, which is a good indicator of just how much India is importing. If you're looking at India imports for this year, they are off the charts. Close to, after this month, they'll probably be over 100 million ounces in the first quarter. Over 100 million ounces. The record is 300 million ounces in 2022. And by the way, the price of silver didn't do anything, and India imported 300 million ounces. That tells you just how suppressed the price is. But, I mean, at this pace, they're going to be 400 million ounces. And with China building over 500 gigawatts of solar panels. We're going to see 200-300 million go into China. What about the rest of the world? So yeah, lots going on in silver. Interesting. The latest, I think, is a February report from the Silver Institute. They do like every biweekly or so report on silver. They have silver demand rising to 1.2 billion. So right here is where silver demand is. They're at 1.16 billion for 2023. That's so far off. I mean, it's shocking. Just the photovoltaics, but this was a year ago, mind you. This was last year's report. This was their forecast. So they got their forecast wrong. We all get our forecast wrong. Will they put the real numbers up? Because if they put the real numbers up, that'll be like 350 million instead of 161, double, which would blow these numbers out of the water. Automobiles as well. So we'll find out. Yesterday, I posted a video, proof that iShares Silver ETF metal was leased to suppress the silver prices. I go through the SLV inventories versus the JP Morgan Bank of America proof, which is in the OCC data. And those numbers are identical. And so at least the numbers that JP Morgan had on their derivative book and Bank of America leased on their derivative book of silver. It should be obvious to everybody. And then I go through, when Jeff Curry of Goldman Sachs said, the shorts are the ETFs. He wasn't lying, but it is illegal for that to happen. It's illegal for the authorized participants to pretend that they still own the silver when their job is to take a basket of silver, 50,000 ounces? 50,000 ounces per basket, maybe. Not quite sure about that. Deposit it into SLV. It is no longer their silver after they do that. Deposit it at SLV. It's an SLV trust owned by the shareholders. It's not owned by JP Morgan, who's the custodian. It's not owned by BlackRock, the trustee. That silver is owned by the shareholders according to the prospectus. So if Jeff Curry tells you that the authorized participants and BlackRock and JP Morgan are shorting the actual silver that's in their warehouse for the beneficial ownership of the stockholders, that's illegal in commodity law, and SEC should do something about that. Yes, the same SEC that does something about a lot of things. Anyway, just more proof. We've been down this path before. Same things going on in the COT that the CFTC can't see. The Commitment of Traders report, exactly the same thing happened. We had this slam down as of, Tuesday? Let's look. When did they start the latest slam down? It would be right here. So the cutoff is Tuesday, and right after Tuesday, they went up and down to see how many shorts they could close out. Right before them, they had the commercials. This is the big riggers, handful, 5 or 6. JP Morgan is the ringleader. A company called Virtu Financial handles all the high-frequency trading. Bank of America is in there. HSBC has been the huge silver provider, so they're one of the major shorts. And we know these characters. It's ridiculous. But yeah, that's what happened as far as the, where is it? Oh yeah, right here you can see that the commercials, right here, the commercials are these two categories. They jumped the shorts up quite significantly. Almost 4 million contracts, and if I have almost 6, plus got rid of longs at 7, maybe 8, about a change in 1 week, going more on the short side, net short of about 8,000 contracts, which is 8,000 contracts is 40 million ounces. That's how the game's played. These are derivative ounces, mind you, derivative ounces. So yeah, that was a big jump, and that is exactly why. That's the only reason why this happened. This rise up and slam down below where they were. Now again, they are not even close to, well, they're kind of close, but they're $1 away from the moving averages. They got to slam it harder and faster to get rid of more shorts. But there are longs picking up, and India is a great example. Every time they crash under these moving averages, India picks up massive amounts of physical silver. So there's a war going on in the silver market. Okay, the U.S. Mint still has not made any silver eagles since the beginning of the month. This fraudulent organization run by fraudulent people doing things that are completely illegal is destroying the United States Mint, and we need to have trust in our mint. Please contact them, call up customer service, call up whatever you need to call up down there. Say, why are you not making silver eagles? You stopped again in February. You're only making 1.7 million. That's half your production capacity. Look, the March is going to be the same thing. These numbers should not be fixed, by the way. These numbers should be based on supply and demand because they are legally responsible and liable. They should be liable if they don't follow the law. So it looks like Janet Yellen told Ventures Gibson, the head of the Obama Mint, the Biden Mint, to stop making silver eagles to meet demand. Again, completely illegal, but they did it before, and they'll do it again. I'll guarantee you they're not closing out their hedge book. We're going to see another gigantic hedge loss this year for the U.S. Mint, but they make it up because they charge way too much for all their commemorative coins. Oh, my God. These people piss me off. So we'll keep an eye on that. I already know what's going to say. By the end of March, it's going to be 1.7 million ounces. And then probably the next month, 1.7 million ounces. Half of their production completely legal. All right. Again, here's a look at what happened in February for the silver. This was 76 million ounces plus about 20-something million ounces right there. This is Indian bullion, silver bullion imports. And we're going to hit March should be, here's my guess. If they completely stop, like the IIBX has basically stopped. But that's just part of the silver imports. I think the IIBX, if there's a slam down, they'll start again, taking silver out. My guess it's going to be 20 to 30 million ounces in March. If my this is completely, I've been on, studying this stuff for 3 or 4 months. That's it. But I went in the past and I look how much bullion is imported compared to the IIBX. That's their new exchange, silver exchange in India. And IIBX does about, it's all the UAE stuff, so it's about 40%. So we'll find out, right? If they don't do any more on the IIBX, I think the imports will be about 20 to 30 million ounces, which would put the amount of silver imported into India at about 120 million ounces. Times that by 4, and you've got 480 million ounce year for India. And the only reason this is happening, there's a couple reasons. The India solar issues are exploding right now. India's solar module manufacturing capacity may jump 60% by 2025. Everybody who says solar's dying is just completely clueless. They're walking through life with their eyes closed. Now, these are all going to be TopCon facilities, which uses 25 to 30% more silver. Oh, don't tell the Silver Institute and Metals Focus that. They'd have to change their silver numbers again. India's solar PV module manufacturing capacity is likely to increase over 60 gigawatts by 2025. That's about 45 million ounces of silver from the current levels of 37. So, yeah, a huge jump by 60%. It is not stopping, by the way, in case you were wondering. And one of the main things, you got to remember that in the United States, we have this little myopic look. Oh, my God, California shut off all the all the incentives to put solar in, which they kind of did. I think it's all about silver, but we'll find out in the near future. But America is tiny compared to the rest of the world. Tiny. India and China population comes to almost 3 billion people. And we have what, 310, 300, well, it depends if you count all these new people coming across the border as population. But about 1/10. We have about 1/10 of the population. So yeah, we can stop using solar panels. We can stop, the electric car push to say, oh, electric cars are bad is getting pretty intense right now. I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, we could just stop, and it would barely dent what's happening in solar and electric cars. That's Asia. I mean, massive. The largest solar car company is not Tesla. It's BYD, Chinese company. They just overtook Tesla, and now they're going to double, triple, quadruple the size of Tesla. Why? Because silver's so cheap. It doesn't matter how much silver you use anywhere in the world. They're going to rig the price of silver at $25 until every ounce is gone. And then you're going to see it go from $25 to $600 to $6,000 in a blink of an eye. Because the United States has been rigging the silver market with the UK, England back in the day, for 170 years. This has been going on, mainly through HSBC and all its counterparts, and then with the invention of electronic money, electronic trading back in the early 70s, Alan Greenspan's initial programs to create the financial system in electronic blips. Yes, he was the best computer programmer in the world in the 60s, 70s, 80s, at least. That's how he became head of the Fed. He was the key market rigger. It's all in the Road to Ruta data. It's all of it sprang from the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston, the Road to Ruta documents. That's what Root A is, by the way, ultimately. Root A is part of a programming language, Fortran, if you guys remember Fortran. It's the basis. Root A is the basis of our financial system in computer programming language. And then it goes checking, savings, 401 market Ks, and then derivatives are down here, and now it's completely out of control. All right, moving on. You guys know this. If you've been around, if you haven't, go to roadtoruta.com. There's tons of information on the free side. And on the paid side, you get even more of what's going on. Good report from SRS Rocco. Massive surge in European silver ETF inventories. Who's the big European silver investor? I don't think it's an investor. I think the same thing that's going on in the SLV ETF is going on in every ETF. It's a way for India and China to get metal. It's a way for industrial buyers to get metal. This is a battle now. It has all of a sudden turned to industrial buyers, and Ted Butler had warned of this for years, industrial buyers versus the market riggers. The retail buyers are pretty much out. Retail buyers only buy when the price goes up, and they don't let the price go up, which is the dumbest thing ever, all you retail buyers out there. I just bought some more silver from Andy Scheckman over at Miles Franklin. And I bought some silver from Will Lair over at Perpetual Assets. Buy your silver. I don't know. I mean, why would you're going to buy when silver goes over $100, $1,000. You're going to still be buying when it hits that point, because it's not coming back down. And you're going to be saying, damn, I stopped buying silver when it was under $30. Why did I stop buying silver when it was under $30? Bix yelled at me. I scold you for not buying as much silver as you can possibly get your hands on. If you have mining shares or ETFs, not a good play. Not at this point. Not even on the short term. At any moment, JP Morgan can click a mouse and make JP Morgan go away, which triggers $55 trillion in derivatives, destroys every bank on the planet. Every stock market, every bond market, even the silver and gold markets would disappear because there's no banks open. That's ultimately the end game. So, place your bets. Every country is going to wrap their hands around their own country and say, okay, what can we do? Well, the first thing would be to nationalize all the mines, gold and silver mines. Of course, they'll be nationalized. In America, you might get fair market value for your shares, but truthfully, those shares have been rehypothecated anyway, and nobody knows who owns what. That's what Larry Fink said the other day. Said, "Oh, we're gonna digitize all the shares so that there's no more fraud. We're gonna put it on the blockchain." Now, where have I heard that before? Oh yeah, Reggie Middleton invented it and had it patented. Larry, Jesus. Anyway, so yeah, I expect this inventory to go away as soon as it's seen that it's pretty. A 56% jump in a week is a lot. It's a lot of silver. It's 30 million ounces. If you can withdraw on this exchange, if you can go in, buy shares, and then withdraw the silver, they will instantly. Don't know if they can, but that's what they're doing on SLV. They're buying shares and taking delivery. So on the COMEX is smaller because it's more visible, but we're going to hit 30 million. We'll probably hit 30 million ounces on the COMEX, which it's been a while since they hit 30 million. Withdrawn and taken out and gone. Not counting all the stuff exchanged for physical that goes to London anyway, which is probably, I haven't looked at Harvey Organ's site in a while, but it was going a billion ounces a year going that way. There's a lot of silver, but there's a lot of silver needed, and a lot of silver being bought by India and China. All right, let's see. Gray skies over California. For some reason, California has shut down the incentive to buy solar. California is the largest solar state in the U.S. There may be a global solar boom, but a drastic revision of California's net metering program has ruptured the industry overnight and is affecting everyone from installers to financiers to makers of electronics. Basically, the government said, okay, put solar in, you can share your excess solar. So you're making it, and now all of a sudden they're not going to pay you for it. I mean, what does that tell me? It tells me the deep state, the Biden deep state, is trying to stop solar in the U.S. because it's using too much silver, which is another lose, lose, lose. That means more for China, more for India, more for Europe, more for every other country. It is shocking how stupid the West is now. Shocking. So, yeah, but that doesn't matter. I mean, it's a tiny percentage of what's going in. China put in 250 gigawatts, and they're going to do another 250 gigawatts this year. And nobody's saying anything about it. They say, oh, it might go up a little more. No, it's not. It's the game. If you can destroy a financial system of the West just by saying, I'm going green, everybody get electric cars. We're China, we're India, we're going to subsidize everything. When the ultimate result, but the ultimate motivation is to destroy the Western financial system by making silver go up and up and up and up and destroy the control over unbacked fiat money. Silver is a monetary metal. Absolutely is. Only when it goes up, though. And it is going to go through the roof. Everybody and their mother is going to be trying to get their hands on silver. And you'll be bidding against China for an ounce of silver. Imagine that. That's coming. That's in the near future. All right. Herz Meltdown reveals scale of EV debacle. Now, Jeffrey Tucker, I love Jeffrey Tucker. I've met him a couple times, speaking on the same engagements, places down like in Acapulco and stuff. Great guy. But he's really looking at one-sided picture here. Yes, there are many issues with Tesla, but those issues are not on the customer side. Customers love their Teslas, their electric cars. They love them. And you can't convince me otherwise. It might not be a smart thing to do. I don't know. It's hard to tell now. If the whole world was on electric cars, we'd have to make more power generation. Are there going to be better ways to make power in the future? Absolutely. Technological ways that, like green energy, all of a sudden overnight ends because there's magnetic motors that can be used, shit like that? Absolutely. Would you want to have a full-on infrastructure of electric cars if all of a sudden electricity was free? Absolutely. So, anyway, this is from Jeffrey Tucker, and I want to point out a few things. The Biden administration's Environmental Protection Agency has revealed its ambition to phase out gas-powered cars in favor of electric vehicles. Incredibly, this announcement comes as we are flooded with overwhelming evidence that EVs are a market loser. That statement right there is flat out wrong on a global scale. Now, did Hertz screw up? Yeah. Electric vehicles aren't rentals. You're not going to fall in love with an electric vehicle by renting it. You don't know how to use the power station. You don't know how to use this stuff. You're going to fall in love with an electric vehicle by buying one and owning one. The artificial boom and then meltdown of EV market is a modern industrial calamity. It was created by government, social media, wild disease frenzy, far-flung thinking, and irrational chasing of utopia, followed by a rude awakening by facts and reality. CEO of Hertz, Stephen Shear, has been booted out due to a vast purchase of an EV fleet that consumers didn't even want to rent. That is true. Your average Joe is not going to rent an electric car because they don't know anything about it. They don't know how to do it. They don't care. They're looking for a rental car. They're not looking for a driving experience. The company has now been forced to sell them at deep discounts in a market where consumers are not particularly interested. I would say, with the used electric car market has not been developed properly. You don't know. There's too many unknowns when you buy a new one, much less a used one. Looking back, however, Shear's decision to bet everything on the EV boom was a disaster that was highly praised at the time. Only last year, the company bragged, quote, "This morning, Hertz was recognized by the White House for efforts to expand access to electric vehicles across the country. Demand for EV rentals is growing, and we're here to help our customers electrify their travels." There you go. Pleasing the Biden administration is not the same as pleasing customers. Now, here's where he gets it wrong. Well, for the rental customers, it's true. But for EV owners, this is just wrong thinking. And he should have done the research, and I'll show you where the research is. The demand turns south fast in a real-world test of drivers. But that's not all. Hertz could not make their investment pay no matter what they did. The key issues with EVs are the follows. Now, what he lists here, I'm going to talk about because he completely glosses over the customer satisfaction of owning an electric vehicle and the good things about it. The cost up front is much higher. That is true. But it's coming down. I mean, it's not much higher in China. BYD, they make a cheap electric car. Financing charges are higher. All charges are higher because every car is higher. I mean, that's not an argument to make against electric cars. They depreciate at a higher rate than internal combustion cars. That is not true. He's talking about the price. The only reason that the used electric car market isn't stronger than a combustion engine car is that the market isn't fully developed. Nobody gives back their electric cars. It's not fully developed. If you got money to buy an electric car, you're going to buy a new electric car and have it for 15 years with practically no maintenance unless you crash. They depreciate at a higher rate. I could argue that. The insurance is more expensive by at least 25%. Yep. Repairs are much more expensive. That's a trick statement. Rarely. You don't even have to take it in for maintenance. There's so little you have to do. If you get into a crash, yes, repairs are more expensive. Even if you can get them done and they take longer. Yes, don't crash your electric car. Yeah, you just a fender bender. Yeah, it's mostly plastic outside. They just pop it off just like a regular car. But if you're gonna have to mess with the batteries in the drivetrain, yeah, it's more expensive. But that's so rare. It's like when you crash your car. There's no maintenance on an electric car. You don't take it in for tune-ups. How much are you spending on your electric car? Parts don't wear out like they do on a regular car. I don't know how long Amy's had her car. It's 3 years now. Been no maintenance. You just charge it up and go. Tires are more expensive and they don't last as long because the car is so heavy. Not sure about that, but how often do you buy tires anyway, right? A couple times. I don't know depends how much you drive, but it's not a big expense of a car. You don't worry about, I'm not going to buy this car because there's more wear and tear on tires. Refueling is not easy, and missteps can have nightmarish consequences. Refueling is easy. It's very easy if you're an owner. If you're a renter, yeah, it freaks you out. What do you do? I don't know what, there's no gas pump. All electric cars have estimated time to get to the next charging station right there. I mean, with gas cars, you have the electronics that tell you how many miles you have left till you run out of gas. Electric cars are the same thing. But electric cars tell you exactly where you can go for a fast charging area. And that's being built out. I mean, in California, it's easy to get anywhere. The average electric car on the high end, 400, I think it's 380 miles to the charge. That's crazy. All right. They're more likely to catch fire. I don't know, catch fire, but the fires are worse. Yes, because you got batteries burning. Get the hell away. He's going to blow. But I don't know if they're more likely to catch fire. Cars catch fire all the time. Combustion engine cars. Anyway, any motor vehicle accident that impacts the battery can lead to repairs higher than the value of the car that is totaled. Yep, that's true. To top it all off, there's no longer any financial advantage to the driver. That is completely wrong. It now costs slightly more to charge under many conditions than to refuel with gasoline. I don't know what world he is living in, but that is not true. That's a falsehood. The novelty of driving one for a day wears off after the first day. Okay, I'm just going to move right to calling him on the bullshit. Tesla tops list of most satisfied customers in the entire auto industry. That is the truth. Tesla has topped the list of the most satisfied customers in the entire auto industry, making Model 3 taking the top spot for all cars globally. Globally. If you own a Tesla and you are 99% of the people who buy their Teslas love them. Even sitting in those charging stations, because you got a TV right there. You can do your work or whatever you want to do. You can watch TV for 15 minutes and go another 100 miles. You can watch you can watch a movie and go 350 miles. It's just wrong what he's saying. And reasons behind Tesla currently holds a satisfaction rating of 96%, outscoring every other car manufacturer. Tesla has also claimed the top spot in the Consumer Reports annual owner satisfaction, where 91% of Tesla owners stated that they would buy another Tesla vehicle in the future. Tesla pre-orders for Model 3 surpassed many expectations at more than 250,000 in less than 3 days. It's just, I mean, we gotta wake up. Don't talk about owning an electric car unless you own an electric car and have experienced it. Now, the new electric cars, I don't know. Tesla does everything right. And they fix things that they get wrong. The new guys trying to get in, like Ford and GM and all that shit, their minds can't even get around new technologies. So global EV sales hit a record 1.5 million. Every year we're seeing 20 to 30% growth. Electric vehicles now take up 16% of the global market. Let's see. According to EV volumes data shared by researchers, 1,556,000 new passenger plug-in electric cars were registered globally in December, about 23% more. And then the previous record, November, 22% growth. All electric car registrations increased roughly 20% year over year in December. And this is what the EV growth is looking like. Now, there's a lot of bad publicity right now, just like the electric, just like the solar panels in California. A lot of bad publicity, but America is a tiny part of the market, as you can see. Plug-in electric cars worldwide have been growing. This is, January, every year, massive growth. Last year was massive growth. This year will be massive growth again. China has a new electric car company coming out. It is massively funded. And they're making literally parking lots full of these cars. Make them while you can. When silver's gone, you're not going to make any electric cars. I think that's China's motivation. They know everything about silver. They called last decade, the last century. What was it? I was watching a show on silver in China, and when England destroyed China through the Opium Wars, they got everybody addicted to opium to bring all the silver back to the UK because all the to England, because all the people in England were buying teas and spices from China, and all the silver was leaving. So they set up Hongkong Shanghi Bank, set up opium dispensaries, got everybody addicted to opium. They had to pay in silver. All that silver came back to England. And in the movie, and this is half of it produced by a Chinese company, they're saying that the last century has been the century of embarrassment for the Chinese people, that they were duped out of their silver. And that is changing now. All that silver is going back. It's going back in sneaky ways. Electric panels, yards and yards of, literally miles of electric cars being made and just hanging on to them. They're not stopping. Same with solar panels. So many solar panels are being made that the Silver Institute doesn't want to talk about. It's embarrassing. But so let's see. Where were we? New figures provide clarity on solar global glut dumping prices. This was back in September. They had expected a potential for 120 gigawatts in EU warehouses. So 120 gigawatts is about 80 million ounces that you have to add on top of the installs. That's just in Europe. We don't even know how much in China for silver used in electric power. All right. So anyway, got that for you. I want to talk briefly about cryptos. Bitcoin up a little bit, probably because the Bitcoin ETFs aren't trading right now. So it's a complete con. These ETFs are a complete con. That's how they control the price of silver. That was their new way back when they took out Warren Buffett and they stole his silver. They can control prices with the ETFs. Like Jeff Curry said of Goldman Sachs, the shorts are the ETFs. Completely legal. But hey, since when has the law stopped anybody in the United States of America? So yeah, they got Bitcoin under control. I don't think they'll be able to control things like Theta ultimately. Theta is going to change the world, and we are looking at how many days left? 39 days until launching of the Theta Edge Cloud. This is the beta version, I believe. So at some point, we all have excess capacity on our cell phones, on our computers, and this is my new revelation. I've been talking about excess broadband. I wrote it in a song, for Christ's sake. Broadband expansion, always there by your side. That's the Theta Girl song. The idea is to share broadband to vastly increase the amount of broadband that certain areas have, because it costs trillions of dollars to put 5G towers everywhere and content delivery networks and all that. The latest thing, though, not only can you share your broadband, but what else does your computer do that has excess capacity? And that's where we're getting into the storage capacity of your device. You have excess storage capacity on your phone. You have excess storage capacity on your computer. You have excess storage capacity on your smart TV. And that's what Theta's tapping into. And then also compute capacity. And they can share all these things, and it's all done by these amazing computer programmers who invented a way to do that. And then incentivize people, because you're not going to let people share your broadband if you don't have to. It's just human nature. But you will if you're not using it, and you can earn T-Fuel. You can earn value for allowing people to do that, share into value creation. That's what's going to go on with your hard drive, too. And it's all done through sharding on the hard drive, so you don't have to worry about, oh my God, they're going to have access to my information. They don't. Everything's sharded. Quit shard. It's a funny name, but look it up if you want more information on how they rip apart pieces of code and have them form them back together if you do have access to the private key of a crypto wallet. Very interesting technology. It's going to change the world. 3.9 billion people will be able to download. That's just for Android. It'll go over to the iPhones and all that soon after. The entire population that has cell phones are going to be able to earn T-Fuel and share broadband and expand the broadband on the planet literally overnight with a download.
Morning, babe.
Hi, Amy. Everybody say hi to Amy. Oh. She was yelling up to me. Anyway, so yeah. And then edge compute is the same thing. Share the processing power of your computer, processing power of your phone. This is the only way AI can work, by the way, is something like this. And yeah, we all saw what happened to NVIDIA when people got, oh my God, AI. But this is the real backbone of AI, if you ask me. Very exciting. And then finally, we are giving away one Veritasium token with every subscription, 1-year subscription to the Road to Ruta or renewal. I do want to point out just Friday, BlackRock launches first tokenized fund on Ethereum blockchain. BlackRock said Wednesday that it has partnered with digital assets specialized securitized markets to launch a tokenized money market fund on the Ethereum blockchain. The private fund called BlackRock USD Institutional Digital Liquidity, that's a tongue twister, fund is BlackRock's first tokenized fund on the public blockchain. It follows the asset manager's successful launch of the Bitcoin exchange-traded fund, which has seen about $13 billion in inflows since January. BlackRock said it has also made a minority investment in Securitize. Joseph Callum, BlackRock's global head of strategic partnership, has joined the board. Qualified purchasers, in this case, generally institutions with at least $25 million in investable assets who create a digital wallet and sign up with Securitize will be able to invest in the fund. The minimum investment for these institutions is $5 million. Investors will then receive a token that has a stable price of $1 and accrue interest in the form of the token. Investors will be able to transfer the tokens from wallet to wallet on the blockchain. Does this all sound like kind of familiar to you? They are describing exactly what Reggie Middleton invented in 2014 and then got patented. This is a stark violation of what Reggie Middleton's patent was all about, and the entire reason they took him down, and they took him down hard. They, meaning the Banking Cabal and the SEC. Here's just put this into perspective. You had Block One. We all know who Block One is. They invented EOS. They had I think it's a 1 or 2 year ICO which raised $4 billion. And they got busted for doing the ICO, like many people have, and they paid like $25 million to make $4 billion. So they're in with the cabal. Veritasium, Reggie Middleton, a black man, by the way, which matters on Wall Street, invented a way to take the bankers out. Talked about it on CNBC. He was the darling on Wall Street. And that was to tokenize stocks, bonds, securities, gold and silver. It was such a good idea in 2014. He submitted a patent for those. 2 patents in the U.S., at least, that we know of. 2 in Japan that we know of that have been approved. Yes, they've been approved. But the SEC came in. He had a $14 million, I think it was $8 million ICO, and he sold, I think, the total of $14.8 million worth of Veritasium tokens, about 2 million of the 100 million that he had created. And then the SEC comes in, shuts him down brutally, says, we want $8 million. Pay it up. He's like, oh my God, I've spent millions of dollars setting this company up, and now they're taking every single penny I have. And oh, by the way, you can never deal in cryptocurrencies again. I didn't hear, Block One having never to deal in cryptocurrencies again, because they weren't trying to disrupt the most criminal part of our banking world. Stocks, bonds, exchanges. That's what Reggie was trying to disrupt. And that's what he did disrupt. So much so that they literally put him in purgatory. Reggie Middleton, CEO of BlackRock blockchain company Veritasium, yesterday agreed to a return of over $8 million raised in Veritasium ICO to investors and pay a further $1 million to the state as part of a settlement with the SEC. The settlement with the SEC permanently bars Middleton and Veritasium from offering digital securities. Permanently barred. Nobody has been permanently barred for offering digital securities. Oh, it's just absolutely insane. And remember where Veritasium was. Right here it peaked in 2018. It was up at $400 on its way ready to run because the whole world was saying, oh my God, it's an amazing invention. Reggie had patented it. It hadn't been approved yet in 2018. And then they came down with the big hammers on them. And then it got approved. Patents got approved in 2021. And you might be saying, wait a minute. How could they approve a patent for software? It's a software patent. Reggie was saying it's software the whole time, not a security. SEC was working with Veritasium very closely. The insanity of this whole situation we find ourselves in is perplexing. Anyway, yeah, that's why we're giving away the Veritasium token. It was in Cliff's data as being worth more than Bitcoin at some point. And it was also in Cliff's data that the U.S. government would come to Reggie and say, help us. That was in the data. And at the time, it was like, what's Cliff talking about? And now I can clearly see how that could happen. Larry Fink, the head of BlackRock's coming out saying, we can securitize everything and make it a much better system. I know Reggie was trying to do that back in 2014. So it would take the destruction of the financial system, which we all know is coming. And so Veritasium would be one of the potential solutions for the future. I think it's going to happen. But we'll find out. A lot of shit has to go down before that happens. And instantly Veritasium would go from $20 or whatever it is today to above the price of Bitcoin, most likely. If they give Reggie his 98 million tokens back. Or let him make new tokens, but they can just, literally, these are frozen tokens. They've never frozen any tokens, by the way, as far as I know, of any of the crypto. The SEC has never frozen tokens of any of the cryptos, even after they sue them and all that. These are the only frozen tokens on the planet, as far as I can tell, that were frozen by the SEC. And it's a multi-sig wallet, so to give them back to Reggie, which I think will ultimately happen, because I can't see the government coming to Reggie and Reggie saying, oh, yeah, no problem. He's just saying, give me my tokens back and we can talk. To give them back, it's a multi-sig wallet. So they can't burn those tokens. The SEC can't. Reggie has one signature and they have one signature. So they both have to agree. I think that's what Cliff saw in his data. We'll find out. Anyway, that's a long way from now. We have to destroy the banking system, all that before that. But anything can happen on the road to Ruta. This is Big Square. Go to roadtoruta.com. Sign up. Hit subscribe today for the 1-year private road membership or the free updates here on the left. Name and email address. I'll talk to you guys later.
Well, here's a true story about a man just like you. He worked his whole life, he was honest and true. Built up a nest egg the way they said to. Invest in the market, money works for you. And everything is fine, picking the winners every time. Started to believe he can make dollars out of dime. Little did he know he's being primed for a fall. The riggers let you play, then the riggers steal the ball. We want free markets, not a million phantom trades. Lest everyone's honest, we're gonna lose what we made. We got to shut down exchanges, trade one for one. We want free markets, well, our work's just begun. Free markets are the road to freedom. Capitalism, not as bad as they say. The world has never tried it, rigging markets every day. Socialists fail every time in every way. We need a better system to forge a better day. We want free markets, not a million phantom trades. Lest everyone's honest, we're gonna lose what we made. We gotta shut down exchanges till they trade one for one. We want free markets, our work's just begun. Free markets are the road to freedom. I said free markets are the road to freedom. Crypto solution, if only done right. We can take out the liars, bring dark into light, and trust in the math, not the people who lie. I think we can make it if we give it a try. We want free markets, not a million phantom trades. Lest everyone's honest, we're gonna lose what we made. We gotta shut down exchanges till they trade one for one. We want free markets, our work's just begun. 'Cause free markets are the road to freedom. I said free markets are the road to freedom. Free markets are the road to freedom.